This is BFBS Esports Live with OJ Borg.
Yes, welcome along to Esports Live on BFBS. I'm your host, OJ Borg. I've taken my shoes off, I've relaxed, I'm ready to get into this. And I'm alongside a man whose day job it is patching people up, a combat medical technician. His evening job, the rest of the time, is taking people apart again in the gaming world as the founder and CEO of Skol Esports. Jonah Jupp, buddy, how are you?
Not bad, thank you, OJ.
Good, man.
Good to see you again.
Well, good to see you. Thank you for coming back for week 2. That's a success, I feel, if we've made it back for a second week.
We are definitely back and excited to see what we've got this week. We've got a guest.
We have indeed. Let's get to that because let's talk about why we do the show. Many of you will know about how key gaming is, not only how it gives you escapism of playing, but the communication, how it gives you the ability of keeping in touch with friends and loved ones across the world, which is why we do this. It's why we all game, not just the competing. It's the fact that we stay in touch with friends and family we don't see. That said, welcome to your home of anything and everything to do with gaming and esports within the armed forces. One of the new things we're doing this season, it started last week, is the War Room. Every Tuesday night at 6:30, we have a gaming lobby. We're hosting it where you can compete against Jonah. He's in there. He's putting his reputation on the line. And others from the armed forces.
Very small reputation.
It is. We'll be playing different games each week. What are we doing tonight, Jonah?
So we're playing my kryptonite, the game that I hate the most. It is Rocket League. Now, we have a Rocket League lobby up. The lobby name is BFBS, and the password is Esports Live, all in lowercase. If anyone wants to join, then feel free to load up now. Join us in the lobby. We already have a few people in. Thanks to those people that have joined us already. But yeah, for sure, I'm ready to get my bottom whooped all over the place.
But the thing is, that's the point about that game. This is why I'm not playing it, because I would get all of those words and more whooped as we get into it. So get Rocket League loaded up and get involved. If you want to follow us, BFBS Radio HQ on Twitter for all the War Room information you need ahead of our live shows. Tonight, as Jonah said, we do have a guest. It's someone that Jonah knows very well. Do you want to mention who he is then, Jonah, rather than me doing the introduction? You know him.
So Dan Penter used to be head of RAF Esports. Now a veteran himself, has now started UVG, that's UK Veterans Gaming. I've probably got that wrong, I probably butchered it. But Dan, myself and Dan have been at Insomnia 69, where we both casted a Halo match against the RAF and the Army. Army lost sometimes. But yeah, no, Dan has been in the esports industry a long time and now obviously setting up his own organization to help veterans enter the esports space. It's great to have him on the show. Yeah,
we will talk to him in a little bit. And Jonah will give us the very latest ahead of Code Bowl 4 as military esports teams from across the UK, US, and for the first time ever, Canada compete for that coveted trophy. If you want to get into the War Room, this is our new gaming lobby that's going to run the whole time that we're doing this show. All you need to do... Well, actually, I'll tell you what, Jonah, you're in there right now. Are you 1-0 up?
Am I what, sorry?
Are you 1-0 up in this game lobby?
No,
right
1-2 down.
Right? Sorry.
I scored one more goal than I thought I'd ever score in this game. I got an assist, but at least I did something. Yeah,
at least you did do something. I'm trying to watch you playing at the same time. If people want to join in, how do they do it? Jonah, can you do that while you're still blasting around the arena?
Yeah, so the lobby name is BFBS, all in capitals, and the password is Esports Live.
Yeah. Wow, it's hypnotic watching how bad you are.
It's really bad. Just don't watch my perspective. It's horrendous.
You go. So if you want to join in, please do jump in and have a game. Here's a pop quiz question for you, Jonah. What was the original name of this game? What was the original name of Rocket League?
Oh, probably car football or something.
No, it's way more exotic than that. It's such a ridiculous. It's such a ridiculous name. It was supersonic, acrobatic, rocket-powered battle cars. Just rolls off the tongue. I think you'll find just rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, that was really easy to say.
Yeah, you said this was your kryptonite. Why? For people who've never played this game. I mean, because I could tell you a million things about why I hate this game. Because I'm always about 0.5 of a second behind where the ball is. But why do you find it frustrating? So
I moved from controller to mouse and keyboard. I want to say back in 2013, and I haven't touched a controller since that time. So this game is massively controller dominated. Codename Jess, who's currently on the team, she's the head of Rocket League 4 Army Esports, and she's playing on mouse and keyboard to try and even things up. Yeah. However, it's still not working. We've just scored another goal though, so I'll take that one. Well, I say we, Demon Masters or Demon Webster, sorry, as has been the one to put on the hard work here.
Yeah, great. You're only 4-2 down now. Keep going, buddy.
Yeah. I'll try.
Well, then that's pretty good. And what games are we looking at playing then over the course of this series? What other games have you got planned in?
Yeah, so we've got loads planned in. So we've got Call of Duty, hopefully the next week or two. I also want to try Fall Guys again. I think it's a fun game. That's an easy game to play on controller. Even I can do it. So brilliant for everyone to sort of get involved in, and we can have plenty of people on in that lobby. But there's other games we can play. We can also set up a Valorant match or something like that. It'll probably take longer than the time we have on the show, but for sure we'll have a result at the end. We'll put that on Twitter for everyone.
We absolutely will do. So if you do fancy having a crack at Rocket League, especially against Jonah and all the people in the lobby, please do check out the War Room. You can find all the details via the BFBS Twitter, which is BFBS Radio HQ. You are listening to BFBS, the Forces Station. I'm OJ Borg with Jonah, who has just... I almost thought there was a rip in the space-time continuum, Jonah, and you were about to win that Rocket League match.
I know, it's 4-5. I mean, we did pretty well. I was heavily carried, but we won't go into that.
No, but let's talk to our guest then, who has waited through this show, excited to talk to Dan Penter, who is the founder of RAF Esports, co-founder of UK Veterans Gaming. Now he's out of the service. Dan, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey OJ, how's it going?
It's going great, and I like to see you. You're wearing the official top. You've got a great background for people who can't see it right now. So how long were you in the RAF?
Just over 25 years. I joined straight from university and came out at a convenient option point.
So at what point in those 25 years did gaming become a part of your world within the RAF?
Probably quite early on. I mean, I'd been a bit of a gamer as a teenager. I almost lost my degree playing too much Diablo. But when internet hit RAF Odium, I was there in about 2001, and I started playing some fairly hardcore, massively multiplayer online first-person shooters. Got a game called PlanetSide. You might have seen PlanetSide 2. It's around still, but the original one was back in sort of 2001. And that was amazing. 400 v 400 attacks going on for the whole of a Saturday afternoon. It was brilliant.
Yeah, you need a whole mainframe to run something like that, though. That is a computer hog, games like that.
But amazingly, that was on 56k dial-up. I mean, we were talking a long time ago.
Yeah, I love it when for people who don't remember dial-up, this is where you used to have to use your phone line to get on the internet, and then you'd be in the middle of downloading something, and your mum would pick the phone and be like, "Mum, put the phone down! I almost had it all down for a second." Dan, how much esports did you play towards the end? Because we talk a lot about this. It's the way if you're away, if you're working away and you're away from fans and friendly, if you're on base or away on manoeuvres or away on a mission. How much did esports help you to stay in touch with friends and family?
I think initially, because it wasn't really great phone lines initially, but we certainly played in units. We used to get like consoles sent out as welfare packages, probably as early as 2004, 2005. So always gamed whilst on detachment and deployment. But I think the keeping in touch side of things started when I went to the States for 3 years in 2015. And that really helped me stay in contact with the family in terms of just chatting and also playing with a couple of friends who I'd played with at other bases who are now all over the world. So that's been really, really helpful.
Yeah, it absolutely is. If I can tear Jonah away for the game just a second, you've actually casted with Dan, haven't you?
I have, yeah. So we casted Halo at I69, as I said before. It didn't really go the way of the army, but the RAF came. Oh, that was the RAF? Yeah, the RAF came on top with a bit of help, I think.
Well, I think the army subbed in a Newell team just to make sure they could actually get at least one game past the RAF. I think very cool.
Yeah. We literally subbed in people from the audience because our team wasn't performing. So.
You can't say that about your own team. Dan, how competitive was it between the forces when you did take part in these games? I mean, you were there casting, so you were commentating on the action, but how competitive was it?
Always competitive. The reason I was casting was because I wasn't good enough at the game to get on the stage. They said, no, boss, you're fine. You sit over there with a microphone out of the way and we can't do any damage. Little did they know.
Yeah. So after 25 years, you left the RAF. Did you set up the UK Veterans Gaming before you left the service, or was it something that you did after you came out?
One of the things that the services did at Insomnia was support veterans. There's a guy called Daniel Bingley, Bezabing, who's with Blesma and Royal British Legion, and he was getting tickets for veterans, and we'd put a wrapper around them in Insomnia. So I got to know quite a few of the veterans, particularly ones from Blesma who are disabled, different for different reasons, normally through service. So I was chatting to them, and there was groups there for veterans, but they were mostly centered around fundraising. They weren't huge. Most of them around about 50 or 60 players, which when they're all playing different games, it's not enough to actually put together a consistent community or even competitive games. There was a bit of frustration. They just couldn't get enough sort of weight behind the numbers to get a good game, a good team out. And there've been a couple of attempts to set up teams. It wasn't really going anywhere. So I surveyed them, the ones I knew, about 50 of them, February, March time. And they overwhelmingly wanted to start something. So as I left the Air Force, I took my first 2 months sort of summer holidays, and we spun up UK Veterans Gaming in that period, and we were incorporated as a community interest company about 3 weeks ago. So we're now just starting to structure ourselves and get ready for a launch.
And what's been the most positive thing since you set up UK Veterans Gaming?
I've met a load of new people to chat to, which is always good. We've inadvertently helped someone support combat stress. He hurt himself and couldn't do the Great North Run, so he did the Great North Row instead, and we got him kitted out with some branded gear and got him some streaming time. We're hoping as we get ourselves structured right, that as people come to us with issues, we're not qualified to deal with them, but we know people who are. So it's really helping people find those systems that already exist. There's lots of charities out there to help people, but often they don't get in contact because they're not using the same sort of media. The TikTok generation don't really watch the broadsheets. It's that sort of issue. So we've got a couple of TikTokers out there who are starting to spin up that sort of stuff for us, just so we can find people and push them to where help is.
So it's great, obviously, that you're playing games together, but it's that support network as well.
Yeah, definitely. Having someone to chat to, we found a couple of people who have completely lost touch with their service lives, and they've kind of gone, great, finally someone who knows what I'm talking about, who I can play with. We've had 3 or 4 of those turn up already in the last few weeks, and I'm sure there'll be more. That was very much how the services esports teams stood up as well.
So for people who are veterans who want to get involved, how do they get hold of you? How do they find the UK Veterans Gaming website or the Twitter or whatever it is?
So we'll go for the website yet. It's still a complete bag of nails. But if you're on Discord, put in for we've got a link now, UK Veterans GG, and if you search UK Veterans GG on Facebook or TikTok or Twitter or Instagram, you'll be able to find us, and a link to our Discord, which is where we're running things out of. We've also got a private Facebook group as well, which has got about 30 or 40 people in now, just for those who don't like Discord, which is normally console players, who because Discord's kind of a new thing for console players generally.
Yeah, I mean, how much of a boomer did I sound saying website, the word website, when I should have said Discord? Just in a word, how would you rate Jonah? Because you've been watching him as you're doing this interview. You've been watching him play Rocket League. In a word,
just don't rate me at all, please.
In a word, I just want a word, Dan, please.
Well, might I say noob? Is that polite enough?
I think that's okay. I think that's fine.
I'll take it.
All right. Well, Dan, thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us, buddy. If you ever want to come in the lobby, let us know. We'd love to have you in.
Oh, I'll start loading up as soon as I'm offline.
All right. Thank you very much. That is Dan there from the UK Veterans Gaming. Fabulous, fabulous service. So if you want to get in touch, we'll, of course, put out all the details on the BFBS Twitter. Do you know what? I said goodbye to Dan, but he's not left. Dan's still here. Dan.
Oh, no, I'm still here.
Oh, he is still here. He's still here. For a second, I thought I'd absolutely messed that up. Jonah, the reason he's still here is because we're going to talk code bowls, and you said that Dan would be a good person to talk to about this.
Yeah, of course. So obviously, Dan, RAF won Code Bowl last year. Do you think they're going to maintain the title this year?
Oh, it's going to be tight. I think. I know the Navy and particularly the Army have been practicing ready to take the RAF off their pedestal. And it was for the US services last year. It was definitely a bit of a shocker. So I can only think they're going to come back very, very hungry for the win this year.
Yeah, for sure. And also, we've seen on Twitter already, if anyone doesn't know what the Call of Duty endowment is, essentially we've got all services from both the United States and the UK Armed Forces. And this year, joining the teams is the Canadian Armed Forces. They have a team of 3 from each service joining them in the competition. Essentially Warzone, isn't it, Dan? Where they play for competitions. It's 1 point per kill. And then the team that comes first gets a 2 times multiplier. And if you place second to 10th, then you get a 1.5 times multiplier. Now, the results been posted on the Call of Duty Endowment Twitter of their practice run. Now, the 2 Army teams, so 2 teams this year from each service, it looks like, the Army teams have placed both second and third. And the other services are sort of spread in amongst the scoreboard. Now, I think highest up the RAF have got this year is 4th to 5th place.
Shots
Now,
fired.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like I say, I'm unbiased, but the Army's in with a shot this year by the looks of things.
Well, and that's really great. The most important thing is to have both teams scoring well. If you looked at the top teams last year, the first of the second teams for each of the services across all the services that competed was the RAF having a second team in the top sort of 10. So that's the secret to winning, is having both teams scoring, because it's a combined score to get the trophy.
Yeah, well,
exactly.
The Code Bowl is going to be massive, actually, and I think we're going to do a ton on it next week. When is it happening, Jonah? What's the date of it? It's soon,
the date's of the 5th, so it's this week.
Oh, it's this week. Okay, well, we'll have a big.
It's this week.
Yeah, we'll have a big rap at it. So if you want to find out more about it, we'll of course put it out on the BFBS Twitter page. Dan, thank you for staying around, mate. You are now you're officially stood down, so you can feel free to jump into one of the lobbies. We'll keep the war room going for a bit longer if you do want to take on either Dan or take on Jonah in there.
Yeah, definitely the Space Force. We're definitely going to provide the smoke for them today, and we're definitely taking our trophy home.
Oh, that's unbelievable.